Use those fingers unless you mean.
Is everyone in here? Come on in. Come on in. There's plenty of seats in here. Come on in. Oh, come on. I can't be that loud. Guess you're not coming. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 44th Annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner. There's no mic. There's no mic. Sorry. So as everyone knows here, I am U.S. Marshal Haney. Our previous Marshal, Bob Nutter, couldn't make it tonight. Actually, he's wanted. So I got the new position. So again, welcome. I will be giving you all a guide into the Wild West, so I want you all to saddle up and get ready. First, I'd like to take a moment to recognize 6 volunteers that passed away this year. They're over there on the table there. Their images are reflected on the memorial table over there on the side there, next to the volunteer desk. Geraldine Keenan, Jerry, as everyone called her, worked from 2012 to 2016. During this time, she donated 352.5 hours to our organization. Catherine Lofgren, Kay, as she liked to be called, worked from 2004 to 2014. She donated 705.5 hours. Alfred Moskal, Al, everybody called him Al, worked from 1999 to 2017. During this time, he donated 5,078 hours. And most recently, Elvira Opolinsky. She liked to be called Ellie. I've heard some stories about Ellie. She worked from 1991 to 2019. She just passed away. During this time, she donated 7,773 hours. Wow. Sherry Pinard. Sherry worked from 2007 to 2010. During this time, she worked 245 hours. Donald Sargent, he liked to be called Don. He worked from 2004 to 2014. During this time, he worked 1,706 hours. So if you'd all take a moment and join me in a moment of silence for these volunteers, please. I'd like to take a moment to thank the following people for their help with the banquet. Jurgen Spagola, who we call Cookie now, and the Chuck Wagon staff for the amazing supper that we had. Thank you, guys. The many LHS employees who served as a wait staff at our supper. Physicians and employees who donated money towards the appetizers. Caitlin Murray for taking photographs at this event. Gail Clark, Anna Rijo, and Deb Gallagher for their efforts with the check-in process. My 3 deputy sheriffs that will be helping me hand out the awards tonight, Tanya St. Cyr, Deb Wiggett, and I'm sorry, Tanya, I didn't get your daughter's name. Lauren. Lauren did it last year, and she just graduated, 3rd honor student.
Yes.
And last but not least, my deputy marshal, Lori Morgan. possible. She is receiving tonight a new pair of socks because she has worn out her old ones from all the miles that I've put on her as my deputy marshal. Come on up. Next, I'd like to welcome Roger Jang to the podium. Roger is the chairperson of the Littleton Regional Healthcare Board of Trustees, and he has a few words that he would like to share with us tonight. But first, I'd like to deputize you, Roger.
This is scary. I forgot what's that.
Here you go.
Don't let us shake you.
I got a steel chest.
That's good.
There you go, Roger. Ooh, I might stick you. This is gonna be scary.
Probably did your notes.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me come here tonight. Through these social hour, I had an opportunity to speak with many of you, and it certainly shows your giving of yourself and how much enthusiasm you have in what you do. The board itself, obviously, if no more, our board is made up of volunteers, so I understand what a volunteer is, because that's what we do. We all carry different roles at LRH. It's important that we understand how important it is to this facility that we treat our customers and we treat all of us like we like to be treated. This night is a special recognition to you, the volunteers. Although I'd like to refer to you as ambassadors, because what you do is more than volunteer. You are the first person that our customers see in many respects. They come into this facility, in many cases, they're nervous, and when they see a bright face that they can articulate with, that helps them transition. We have more than 200 volunteers, and we actually gained 10% this year, so 20 new. And that's important because what we have to do as a facility is grow, and in order to do that, we have to show what we do and how we do it. Volunteers are your neighbors, your friends. They deeply care about LRH, and it's important because these 20 volunteers have given 17,000 hours over this past year. That averages about 48 hours per volunteer, so some that give in the morning, some give more than one day. So that's extraordinary. I mean, to be a volunteer and an ambassador that really caters to the patients and the visitors more than what is really worth to this hospital. Volunteers, they register patients, transport individuals through wheelchairs, greets the visitors, and always there to be a vital resource for the family. Family needs to reach out, and in many cases they're here because their loved one's here. And they want to be able to have a volunteer, an individual that's their peer. With that being said, I found this poem. It doesn't have an author, so I can't take any credit for it. It's not the money, it's not the fame, it's not any personal gain. It's just for love of fellow man. It's just to send a helping hand. It's just to give a tear of self. That's something you can't buy without wealth. It's not medals won with pride. It's not for that feeling deep inside. It's the reward down in your heart. It's that feeling that's been part of you, of helping others far and near that make you a volunteer. That's really touching because each of us that give that time, we give it because it makes us feel good. We give it because we want to. God gave us the gift to help. And by your helping hand, you're making LRH a much better community and family. So on behalf of the board, and speaking to the board, I am grateful for your service at LRH. I'm grateful to be with you this evening. I also want to thank Gail and Vivek for their leadership in their volunteer program. Again, I want to thank you, the volunteers, the ambassadors to LRH, for being part of our community in this facility. So thank you.
Thank you, Roger, for that speech. It was awesome. I also want to say a big thank you to the other Board of Trustee members that graciously joined us tonight. I would next like to welcome Corinne is our Vice President of Patient Care Services. I have a small gift for you tonight. Corinne is here on behalf of our U.S. Marshal, who's now wanted. I hope you enjoy it. And also at this time, I would like to deputize you as well. Thank you.
Get away. That's true.
It's like my nurses again.
Got some people want to show me.
Trust me. Good evening. I'm very honored to be here tonight. Bob wanted me to pass his apologies for him not being able to be here. His best friend, who is like family, is retiring from the military, so he is with his best friend and their family for that very important stage in their life. I'd like to first start by thanking all of you for all of your hours of service. LRH is very fortunate to have over 200 volunteers who touch our patients each and every day. As the Vice President of Patient Care Services, responsible for all of the nursing units and the clinical areas that touch patients. And as Roger mentioned, you often are the first face that they see. You are the person to direct them through our ever-growing building, and we often like to move things around. So even if the patients knew where to come 6 months ago, we've moved things, so they need directions again. I come in the main entrance every day, and there are always volunteers who greet me with a big smile on their face. And as I walk throughout the facility, I see our volunteers at every volunteer station, in the halls, in the cafeteria, with that same smile on their face, welcoming our patients, our community members. Coming to the hospital for a lot of people is a very stressful event. It's very routine for me. I spent a lot of my life here in this building, so I'm comfortable here. But for a lot of people that cross our doors, it's not a comfortable experience. It's very nerve-wracking. So all of you being available to greet them with a friendly smile and ease their anxiety makes our patient experience as positive as it is. So I want to thank you all very much for all that you do. LRH has had a very successful year. We've had a lot of growth, and we have a lot of really positive things to look forward to in the future. And Bob is anxious to share some of those plans with you over the coming months. I think you're going to find that LRH's future is very bright. And we are going to need all of you to be with us as we continue to serve the healthcare needs of our community. So thank you very much. You should all give yourself a round of applause for all of the volunteer hours that you provide to LRH.
Thank you, Sheriff Corinne. We appreciate you joining us this evening. And now, we move on to the awards portion of the evening. Please stand at your seat when you hear your name called, and your award will be brought to you by one of my trusty deputies. We start with the awards for total hours donated by volunteers. The awards are given for 100 hours, 500 hours, and every 500 after that. Receiving their 100-hour pins in alpha order: Jill Berger, Lori Buxton, William Cole, Amanda Crotu, Nancy Diener, Mitchell Gallison, Peggy Gerard, Lena Hemingway, Jean Kroger, Mike Missio, Joe Moritz, Lilo Weinstein, Robert Schrader. Receiving their 500-hour pens in alphabetical order, Geraldine Berger, Rita McLeod, if you could all stand, please. Anna Melendez, David Moranci, Brenda Pino, Howard, I said that wrong, Pinio, Lilo Reinstein, Cindy Sheeman. Receiving their 1,000-hour pens in alpha order, please stand. Lauren Dill, Chick Jordan, whoops, sorry, Judy Lavin and Kathy Somerville, and these are for the 1,000-hour pens. Receiving their 1,500-hour pens in alphabetical order is Tom Campbell, Nate Carmen, Marianne Landock, David Pelletier, Ellie Opolinski. And if you could put Ellie's near her picture, that would be wonderful. We have someone that's going to be attending her service tomorrow, and they're going to hand the picture to her family with the pens that she so much deserves. Receiving their 2,000-hour pens in alpha order, Dottie Herbert, Ray Hoppy Hopkins, Ed Clary, Sandy Lozo, Elaine Marshall, Lucy L-U-C-I. You know? If you call her house, that's what she says. This is Lucy L-U-C-I. Got it right. That's 2,000 hours. Receiving their 2,500-hour pens in alpha order, Nancy Collins, Priscilla Dean, I call him Stevie Jordan, Burl Clary, and Maggie Starr. Receiving their 3,000-hour pen, Faye Jennings. Where are you, Faye? There's Faye. Receiving their 3,500-hour pen, Nancy McNeil. This is a biggie. Receiving their 6,500-hour pen, My Sweet Margaret Harrigan. 5 years after that. This year, we have receiving their 10-year pen in alpha order. Sue Botu, please. I'm sorry. Where are you, Sue? Sue, there she is back there. Tom Campbell, Sheila Chase, Dan Cullen, Jenny Fox, Jeff, Mr. Howard, Patty Howard, Reg LaFlamme, Mary Ann Landock, Daphne McDonald, Mary Jane Merritt, and again, Ellie Opolinsky. We all caught up? Receiving their 15-year pins in alpha order, Ray Hoppy Hopkins, Jan Pocock, Linda Morchers.
Thank you.
Now we have another biggie. Receiving their 25-year pen, Pat Campbell. Now we'd like to recognize our new or returning volunteers that have started since the last volunteer banquet. These people are already making a big contribution to the hospital. Pamela Albernetti, Lori is back, Lori Buxton, she obviously got her pen. Gail Clement, William Cole, June Davis, Cindy Federer, Mitchell Gallison, Peggy Gerard, Doug Hadfield, Lena Hemingway, Jean Kroger, Judith Lukasik, Les Merchant, Mike Missio, Marcel Perez, Mary Ragusa, Diane Ritchie, Mary Smith, Marilyn Stillings, and Kristen Wolf. Next, we would like to recognize the top 10 volunteers with the most hours this past year. They are in order of hours. George Kirk, 289 hours. Amanda Crotu, 301 hours. Donna Wright, 317 hours. Nancy McNeil, 320. Margaret Harrigan, 344. Stevie Jordan, 349.5 hours. Barbara Bliss, 369. Nancy Collins, 370.25. And Mike Missio, 391. Last highest number is Leela Reinstein. Here you go, Lilo. Thank you, Lilo. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Appreciate it. Did I not say? I'm sorry. She did 571.5 hours. And now we move on to our special awards. These are humdingers. The Team Roping Award. They work well as a team and always have each other's back. They are receiving jump ropes. Maybe they can learn how to double Dutch. Please stand. Deb McKenzie and Judy Lavin, Mary Jane Merritt, Daphne McDonald, Sheila Chase, Cindy Davis. Judy's with the gift shop. Mary Jane, Daphne, Sheila, and Cindy all work at the front desk. Thank you. Whipped The trail course riders, you never know where you'll find them around the hospital. They are receiving mini compasses and maps of the hospital and the trail behind the hospital, and also a bottle of water to stay hydrated. Please stand Mike Missio, Wheelo Reinstein, David Moranci, and Nancy Collins. Fence builders, like fences, they support our patients. They are receiving gloves to keep their hands soft after a hard day's work. This is going out to our supportive team therapy. Please stand Grace Bigelow, Mary, I can't even say her last name, Sturtevant. Sorry. Thank you. Cindy Gatsby, Dick Alberini, Anna Bonavie, Ethel Clark, Pablo Flores, and Greg Goodwin. Ethel. Sorry, Ethel. I've only known her for, 40 years?
Something about the name department.
Seasonal ranch hands. They are away for part of every year. They are receiving baseball caps to keep the sun out of their eyes year-round. Please stand Arletta Baird, Geraldine Berger, Ethel Cooper, Marianne Durant, Nancy Frenstra, Jenny Fox, Doug and Nancy Hadfield, Bob and Suzanne Pellerin, and Lucy Pellegrin.
Oh, okay.
The Lone Ranger exemplifies the Lone Ranger motto that all men are created equal and that everyone has the power to make this a better world. He is receiving a cap gun because the Lone Ranger never wanted to hurt anyone. Please stand George Kirk. Calamity Jane, who got her name more for caring for the sick and injured than for her Indian fighting. She is receiving a box of Band-Aids to use as necessary when she cares for her granddaughters. Please stand Donna Wright. Oh my, our rodeo queens. Most hours and most years. They are receiving crowns so everyone knows how important they are to us. Please stand Margaret Harrigan with 6,503 hours. Pat Campbell with 25 years. I know that Stevie Jordan has been after me the last couple of days. He wanted to get up and say something tonight, so I'm going to let him come up and say something before we move on.
They don't have a mic there.
Sorry, Stevie, you're loud.
Use my big mouth.
You're loud and proud.
Well, you can attest to that. All right, how many of you are from out of town? No, I'm only kidding. On December 24th of 2018, my wife took a header. I didn't push her, I swear. Down the back stairs, broke her ankle and a fibula and tibia. So she was out of commission for a while. I took the time off so that I could be with her and make sure she didn't starve to death. And I didn't know it, but I guess I had a passion for cooking, so I'm a little territorial. She doesn't go in the kitchen now. So I'll never be able to thank anybody enough, but whoever took my place on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 to 12, I thank you from my heart and my soul. I'll never be able to repay the hours that you did for me and took my spot over so I could stay home and take care of my wife. I just want to read you this one quote that I got. It's from an old friend that I had. Life is too short to wake up in the morning with regrets. It says, so love the people who treat you right, and forgive the ones who don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason. If you get the chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said it would be easy. They just promised it would be worth it. That's from Dr. Seuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Stevie. I've known Stevie since we were in grade school. He always says that. Up next, I am pleased to welcome back Jeannie Madden, daughter of Jewel Fogg, founder of the volunteer program here at Littleton Regional Healthcare.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to be with you again tonight. If I could just take a moment, I wanted to just express my gratitude to a couple of individuals. I don't know if Amy Mancini is still here, but I wanted to just say, Amy, thank you so much for your wonderful stewardship of the volunteer program. I certainly appreciate it. And I understand why. Taran Sunman, Taran, if you're still here. Amazing. And in Western speak, if I can, thank you so much for being willing to be back in the saddle. And then Vivid, we just want to give you a real sincere and warm welcome.
Thank you.
This has just been wonderful, and we wish you a lot of years of success.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Jewel was not only my mom, but truly she was my best friend. So it brings me great pleasure to be here tonight in her stead, and just to remind all of you of what a rare and special treasure you all are. In founding the volunteer program, Jewel really did exemplify the pioneering spirit, and that spirit lives on in each of you. The fact that all of you made at some point that decision to become a volunteer meant that you actually did embark on your own individual journey into the great unknown, driven by your courage and by your passion to be of service to others. It takes courage to reach out beyond the great unknown, to embrace new roles, and to be willing to go where you're needed despite not knowing what lie ahead. So truly, like the pioneers before us, you volunteers are very much like they are. You are passionate people who inspire others. You are committed and you are persistent. And truly, you are selfless. I can't express it enough, but by all standards, you are worth so much more than your weight in gold. When I learned about this year's theme being country western, I couldn't help but just be reminded that a local official at one point referred to my mom as a modern-day John Wayne. Full of integrity and true grit. And you know, I love that, and I think that those of you who knew Jewel would have to agree with that analogy. She truly was. She was strong and courageous and feisty, and she valued truth and service, and was always looking for ways to improve her community and the lives of those around her. And in developing this program, she really looked for an opportunity where each of you could come and use and utilize your most precious commodities, and that is your time and your talent, to serve those who are most vulnerable among us, the sick and the injured. and to make a meaningful difference in the lives of those in need. And by doing so, also making an important impact into our community and improving the town of Littleton and our local region. My mom just seemed to have this belief that life held a greater purpose that only grew deeper in meaning when we shared the gift of ourselves in the service of others. And so, akin to John Wayne's statement, the man's got to have a code, a creed to live by. The Julia M. Fogg Founders Award is presented to the individual that best demonstrates the qualities and attributes essential to the founding and supporting of the volunteer program. Care, compassion, community service, leadership, and by being an inspiration to others simply by how you live your life each day. And now, my partner, Gail, will announce this year's recipient.
Thank you very much, Jeannie. So as Jeannie said, when we think of Jewel Fogg, for those of you who knew her, that the word selfless is what really comes to mind. Jewel dedicated many, many years to this hospital, a good portion of her life to Littleton Regional. Whether it was as the founder of the volunteer program, serving on the auxiliary, in which she served several roles as a member of the Board of Trustees for many years. More importantly, she served as a very important advocate for LRH for many, many years. And I feel privileged to have known her. This year's nominee for the Jewel Fogg Award holds many similar qualities that Jewel did. She is selfless. Rarely does she ever say no to a request from the Marketing and Community Relations Department. In fact, people have commented that she might be on the staff. She goes above and beyond what is expected of her throughout the year, including serving as a greeter at our wellness fairs, a greeter and a registrant at our women's winter craft fair. She also sells mulligans at the Dr. Moose Golf Tournament and the Women's Health Conference. Well, there's not too much that she has not done. From distributing flyers throughout the area to proofing attendee registrations and attending the registration table at the event. I know that Caitlin would agree with me that she could probably run the event without us, but we don't. During the winter months, this volunteer serves as a secret shopper. So for those of you who are familiar with the Caring Tree, and many of you who don't like to shop, make donations to the Marketing and Community Relations Office so that we can select tags so that children from the area will get Christmas gifts. Well, this volunteer spends just countless hours taking tags, taking cash that we've collected. She will be up at 7 a.m., she will be shopping, and she will make sure that every child that she has a tag for gets a gift. And on Christmas Eve, this volunteer can be seen at LRH delivering gifts to all the patients. And she's very quiet about this, so many of you may not even know how much she does. So when I think of this volunteer, I think of someone we've grown to rely on deeply. So it is my pleasure, and she's probably going to kill me.
She just said that.
Pleasure and honor to present the Jewel Fogg Award to Anna Rio.
Yeah, get up there. Nice try.
Nice try.
One more.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Anna, wherever you are. There you are. Congratulations, Anna. Oh, I know you. And thank you, Jeannie and Gail, so much. I know that was very emotional for you, Gail. Up next, I'd like to offer a warm welcome to Karen and Jean Clark. We are pleased that they can join us to present the annual Peg and Jean Clark Award, especially as you also celebrate your wedding anniversary this evening. Your happy anniversary to both of you, and please make sure you take this home and celebrate tonight, okay? So welcome. You need to invite everybody to come up here.
It is nice to be here tonight, and this has been going on for a while now. My folks passed away a little while ago, and so I think this is now, before I read the actual remarks, the 6th or so year of giving out this award, and then they were very close, best friends with Jewel Falk. It was Jewel that got my folks involved with the volunteer program, and then with Jeannie up here, I've known since she was young. Her mom's award came along shortly thereafter, so it's really nice I see at least 4 sets of people who have won my folks award. We're getting tradition now in the audience tonight. And it is our anniversary. She was 12 when I married her. It's our 38th anniversary. Candlelight, wine, roses, and now I'm at the hospital having dinner at a booth with your board president talking about the hospitals.
So there were no laws back then at 12.
You were not capable. We're so happy to be here tonight to present the Peg and Jean Clark Volunteer Recognition Award. Volunteerism was always extremely important to my folks, both personally and professionally. They spent their careers working for the YMCA, so they realized the significance of people donating their time and talents. Success of many Y programs depended on the strength and number of its volunteers, so when they retired, they focused their energies on giving back to the community that had given so much to them. They volunteered at their church, Mom in auxiliary and Dad as warden for several terms at the Episcopal Church, and both were lifelong choir members. Dad was active for over 40 years in the Rotary Club and also served in the local Littleton School Board in the 1970s. They continued their YMCA work as volunteers on various district and statewide programs, and they volunteered at the hospital, serving at the front desk, gift shop, fundraising events, and in any other capacity needed. They gave endless hours and energy to help support many causes, for they realized the gift of time was valuable and worthwhile. So much so that Dad was honored in the 1970s with the Littleton Citizen of the Year Award. After we lost Mom and Dad many years ago now, my sisters, Deb and Pam, and my wife Karen, and I felt the Volunteer Award would be a wonderful way for them to be remembered. They so deeply believe that volunteers were a key ingredient to building a strong organization, and I know they would be happy to see appropriate recognition given to someone as deserving as this year's recipients. My wife Karen will now present the award. Happy anniversary.
So tonight we are pleased to announce the 2019 recipients of the Peg and Jean Clark Volunteer Award to sisters, Faye Jennings and Shirley Lewis. Faye Jennings and Shirley Lewis are longtime volunteers at the Littleton Communal Health Care. Faye began volunteering in 2007 and has donated over 3,000 documented hours of service to LRH. Shirley started volunteering in 2008 and has donated over 2,700 documented hours of service to Littleton Regional Healthcare. Together, they have a combined total of 5,700 hours of service at the hospital. Faye and Shirley have recently decided to retire from volunteering, and they both deserve to be recognized for their efforts and contributions to the hospital. Over the years, Faye has volunteered at numerous locations at Littleton Regional Healthcare. Her most recent volunteer station was at the lower atrium desk outside the cafeteria on Fridays. There, Faye would help our patients and visitors with their various customer service needs. Prior to this, Faye volunteered for 2 days a week at the medical office building. As Faye is in her 90s, it is understandable that she would reduce her time to 1 day per week. During her career, Faye also spent time volunteering in the Moose Ledge gift shop. Faye has been a fixture at Littleton Regional Healthcare, a fan favorite of hospital employees, as her kind and caring demeanor invites people to gravitate toward her. If Faye missed a day of volunteering, employees would often stop by the volunteer desk to ask for her. Shirley also is well loved at Littleton Regional Healthcare. Despite her small stature, Shirley has a large presence and is known in the building. Most recently, Shirley volunteered at the lower atrium desk outside the cafeteria. Excuse me. Before this, she was stationed at the front desk in the main lobby on Mondays. At both locations, Shirley assisted our patients and visitors with their customer service needs. For many years, Shirley volunteered at least 2 days a week, and only in recent years dropping to 1 day per week. Despite her age, Shirley never minded walking around the hospital campus, whether it was to direct a patient to a doctor's office or to get a fellow volunteer a cup of coffee. Other volunteers and employees describe Faye and Shirley as kind, funny, and lovable, the type of people you are excited to see each week. It is no wonder why these women have been such excellent volunteers. We wish Faye and Shirley the best of luck during their retirement from volunteering at LRH. You will be well missed.
Okay, ready? 1, 2,
Who needs glasses? Not mine, I don't need them.
Thank you, Karen and Jean, and congratulations to Faye Jennings and Shirley Lewis. We will both miss you, and I know I'm asked every week where you are. Thank you again. That concludes the awards presentation for tonight. I want to once again thank the volunteers for all they do for Littleton Regional Healthcare. Have a great evening, everyone.